Welcome back,
Hi.
everybody. This is Night Flight, and today Trina Phoenix is back, and I'm very, very happy to have her here. We usually have a lot of fun during our talks, and if you do not know about Trina, then go back to my first interview with her, where she introduced her healing arts and everything that she is involved with. So, Trina, welcome back. What's new with you?
Oh, this world is crazy, and we're all just trying to navigate through this rock and roller coaster ride we're on, and you know, uh, just trying to stay more on a positive, mindset, which is super challenging right now. I'm seeing so much struggle with consciousness and so much struggle with our young kids. These children are really having a hard time. So trying to lift people up where you can, trying to heal where you can, trying to uplift where you can, because this literally it's a battle over our consciousness, battle over our minds. And we have to be careful what visions we allow to go into our brains. So be very careful with too much television, because it's telling you the vision and you're producing that vision into our world. So it's really time now we need to understand how to be more responsible with our thoughts and our creations and what we allow into our eyes and our ears and what we speak out of our mouths, because it's time that either we're going to make it gentle or it's going to be really rough.
Yeah, I I had an encounter with a young gentleman. When I go across the street here, then I'm in a sanctuary. So,
Oh.
yeah. And so the other day I was shaving off bark from the willow tree. I plucked walnut leaves
Mm.
and beech bark from the beech tree. And yes, I apologize to the trees. I did it because we have a shortage of paracetamol here and ibuprofen. Just the other day, I met somebody, and no, I didn't meet him. We walked by, and we overheard his telephone conversation. And he said, "Wow, you are now the eighth pharmacy that is telling me you do not have any paracetamol." Yeah, and yeah, along with all the other nonsense that's
Anti-parasitic.
mhm,
Another really good source of that, many people don't know,
yeah,
is grapefruit seed extract.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, and the willow tree is the bark of the willow tree that is good against fever, and the beech tree that's also against fever and parasites, and the walnut leaves, they are good if you're dealing with diarrhea. So I
mhm.
thought to myself, it can't hurt. It really pained me a little bit to have to cut the tree, yeah,
Yeah,
because that's really not my style. And
right.
I apologize and I explained
Yes.
why I'm doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. And you know what? Go back to the tree and give it an offering. Give it
Mhm,
like some tobacco for the soil because it helps for the soil, or, plant some flowers, or, just give back an offering. So whenever we take from the earth, give something back and say
mhm.
thank you. And this is what I offer you. And then there's a balance with the things that we do, more so than if we don't.
Yeah. Do
Mhm.
you see a light at the horizon?
Yes,
Mhm.
I do. I do.
Okay, please elaborate a little bit.
Well, and it's so funny. It's even down to if I drop my body, that still is going to be a celebration. So any way this goes, I know that I won. And it's
Mhm.
because of where I've gone in my mind. So with that, when I do leave this body, my consciousness has the ability to open doors that others don't. And
Mm.
it's because of the work that I've done going inside of my own being, because everything in this world is teaching you about saviors and going outside of yourself and doing all these things outside of yourself and creating outside of yourself. It's like it's all backwards. It's all about what's going on inside of us. in the being of you. What are the thoughts running through your head? Are you dealing with the angel or are you dealing with the devil? Because that one's beating you up and keeping you in negativity, and this one over here is trying to get you into creativity and more higher mind concepts. So we've always got this internal battle running within our own being. And these things are all within us. Everything that is outside of us is a reflection of what's inside of us. So when we can start to understand how these mirrors of consciousness actually reflect into our environment, we're going to start to play this game a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm. You just you just mentioned that even if you have to drop your body, have
Yeah.
you ever, you know, did you ever do a mental exercise of how you are going to blast through the false white light and avoid the soul recycling trap? And so how do you envision that?
You know, when my consciousness went to that conclusion
Mhm.
that the light could be a false light reincarnating trap. But see, there's also true light, and the true light is safety and love and pure essence. So you've got to, that's the difference. You have to know the difference between which is organic and which is artificially being reflected. And this is going to be the difference. Light that's false is reflective. It's an image, it's a copy, it's a projection. That's the reality that we're in right now. We're in a reflective environment. The light emanates here. It's all bouncing off of a source here. It's a bouncing thing. When it's in the higher realms, it's emanating from within. So everything is luminescent. It glows from within. So there's no external sun above your head. The light is all around. It's everywhere. So there's different kinds of light. But most of the light that you see when you immediately die here is going to be the reincarnation false light trap. So when I started processing that in my consciousness, and the first clue I got was from the Poltergeist movie back in the early 80s or whatever. And when I saw that movie and the lady was like trying to get the lost children's souls to go into the light, and then she had some kind of profound realization. She's like, no, don't go to the light. Don't go to the light. I was like, oh, what is she? There's something to that. Like my soul remembered something about that deep inside my soul. It was a trigger. And I was a child and I didn't understand. I was like, but that stuck with my consciousness. So when I came into the whole, I wonder if this light is a trap, because I do remember a contract that I have and I wasn't going to come back in. And I knew I didn't have to because of my contract. But when I had made the decision not to come in, I was already too far down into the layers of the energies. So I was already kind of in the matrix. So there's laws that can keep you in it once you're already certainly a certain level in. And that was my mother praying over me. These things are portals. For anything that produces light is a portal. And that's what I'm coming to find now. So with this consciousness, I'm like, okay, this light could be a trap, blah, blah, blah. The way that my consciousness showed me the option for me to get out of the light trap construct, or the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its tail, was that vision I had of my cutting myself out of that serpent and giving my sleeping body, which was a clone of me that was in stasis asleep, giving that to the Lord, and the Lord taking that to the Father, source light, and fixing it, because I knew I didn't want to be asleep. I knew something was wrong with that. I was like, no, you fix this now. And a big, huge portal of light opened up. And I know that was exactly where that was supposed to go. So I think there's different kinds, and I think there's different lures that you're going to be dealing with when it comes to that. So I think the best thing that you could do is find who you are inside yourself. Get very familiar with you. Get very familiar with your frequency, your essence. What is the sound and the song of your soul? Identify with that and follow that path. Follow which is true to you. Because if you are true to yourself, it will bring you back to your home. And that's where you want to go.
Mm.
So that would be my best advice for that.
So do you think that if we do that during our lifetime, then the moment it is time to drop the body, you can do it almost on autopilot?
I think you're going to go where you vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to match the vibration with which you achieve. You have to match it or at least meet it more than halfway, because the closer you get to you, you're going to, if you can get to your oversoul, that the next layer from that is to merge into source, which you would lose all of your personal identity. So with that, caution with that, because you will become all that is and ever was at the same time, which you are a part of that in your oversoul construct, which is the true consciousness of your essence. So that's where I'm shooting. I'm going to my oversoul. I want direct line to oversoul. And I see that as a process of having to get through gates. And those gates will only be gotten through with vibration and consciousness. You have to know how to pursue and get through those gates. And those gates are going to be the same gates you have in your body, starting at the root, then going through the sacral, then to the solar, then to the heart. Then you hit the bridge between heaven and hell, which is diaphragm, to the higher heart. Once you get to higher heart, you're in the higher realms of creation. This is going to be a map of getting through consciousness levels and frequencies and different layers of light, just like your chakra system in your body, as above, so below, as
Mm-hmm.
within, so without. It's going to be a map of the universe. It's in your body. Learn what you are. It will be your key.
What would you tell people that say the entire chakra system is a useless concept because we have been working with it for thousands of years and it has gotten us nowhere?
I'd say it's kind of like God. It really doesn't give a shit. They're just powers and they're lights and they're emanations of light code, and they operate if you believe in them or not. So I think it's kind of irrelevant. But I do believe it's an overlay that you hold within your construct of your soul to experience in a third dimensional realm. Once you leave these realms, you no longer need that chakra system, because you don't have to remain in the solar system, because right now you're existing within a body of a solar logos. And if you decide to go back to your true body, your home body, oversoul, then you no longer will have any of that. You will return back to your original true trinity of light. And
Mm-hmm.
all those layers of soul for the third dimensional incarnation are no longer necessary. So they drop. But you can't do that unless you consciously understand how to do that. That's the thing. As soon as you have an awareness, you hold the potential. All potential is based on, do you have the perception or the ability to perceive of it? Because if you can't perceive it, you can't see it. And if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Mm-hmm.
Expand your mind. That's where you got to go. This is all
You
about your mind. All of it.
when
Every
when you
bit.
okay, when you say if you're not aware, then you cannot see it, do you
Yes.
mean with your mental eye?
Allegory. I'll teach you in metaphor. Okay, so Native Americans were standing on a beach. They'd never ever seen a boat other than a canoe in their entire life. And as Christopher Columbus and all the people were charging onto their lands with these big, massive ships, the shaman, the medicine man, he could see the boats coming. And he was telling all the people in the village, do you see the ships? Do you see the flags? Can you see them? They couldn't see them. They didn't know what a ship looked like. They didn't know what a ship was. So he's trying to describe it, and they couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. Those boats were about 500 feet away before they could finally perceive what the shaman was telling them. And then all of them at the same time, they could see the ships, but then they were very, very closely approaching. This is the thing. You can't see it unless you can perceive it. You have to perceive it in the mind first, then you can see it in the eyes. There's a perception, visual connection that needs to be made. And like some people can see spirits, other people can't. It's about what you can perceive. It's about what you can see in your mind. Can you see things others cannot? Everything here is about perception. That's why it is so important that they are telling you the vision through the television, because they're making you create their world through your perception. And they're feeding you the images through the television. They're telling you the vision to hold in your mind so you will project that reality into this world made manifest. And bingo, we are very good at it.
So some people even say that the chakras are a holographic overlay.
That's
And
probably true.
yeah. And that you should rip them out. I don't even think that is possible.
I do think it's possible. And I think that if you do that, if you don't know how to rip those holes out and close those holes and reestablish your original trinity, I think you're going to go crazy, or your body's going to break down and you're going to physically die. Because that is part of your solar system as part of a solar logos. So right in the third dimensional body, those are light systems operating your aura. So if you shut those light systems down, that means your auric field is not going to be the same as it was before. And if you don't have the power to connect to the original trinity, which is hard in a third dimensional reality because you're not intended to be operating on those. Your body was made to exist on this realm. I mean, it's perfect in its creation. This is a beautiful body that we have, and it's made for this realm. It's made for the third dimension. It has a chakra system because it's part of duality. And the chakra system is not just 7, it's mirrored. Everybody forgets about the duality law that exists here. It's 14, baby. So you've got all kinds of...
Sorry, what is 14?
The chakras. You have 7 chakras, but they're dual. One is going forward, one is going backwards. They're dual. So there's 14.
You even have them in the hands.
Yes. And that brings forth the full 24, because once you can get to the 12, then you can go to the 24, and then that's all unified through the 6, which is perfect man, which is another higher octave of that is 13, which represents divine feminine. This is just all about light. And light is about vibration. Vibration is based upon word thought. So thoughts and words create frequencies. Frequencies create thoughts and words. It's a cooperative union in this realm. So that's what I mean. What you perceive about, you can put into words and think about, speak about, be about. But if you don't have the perception, you can't go there because you don't have the ability to conceive, which is give birth to that point of creation.
Yeah.
So chakras, they are a part of the artificial overlock system within this construct that is not organic or true to your physical, not your physical, but your spiritual body. It's necessary, I believe, in the third dimension because it's a light construct, which is part of your rainbow of your aura field. Each one of those is one ray of the prism of the 7 rays of color. This is all attached to sound. This is attached to color, which is attached to your auric field, which is which allows you to manifest in this reality. So to deny what you were born with in perfection of creation, even if they were mad scientists playing with our DNA. I'm sorry, if it didn't work, it wouldn't have existed. So obviously this body works. So obviously they kind of might have known what they were doing. And people don't honestly know what happens when you remove the chakra system, or if anybody's ever been able to do it, because I do think it might kill you. So, with that, it's like people want to get rid of the ego. I'm like, really? Go ahead, get rid of your ego. You're going to be like an infant child. And you're going to walk right off the edge of that cliff because you're going to have no idea of that. You can get hurt if you fall off the cliff. You notice that? Children will go right off the edge of a building. They don't see the difference between the sky and the ground. That's ego. Without ego, you die. People don't understand. These things are positive and negative. This is what you're here to do, is you're to master those poles. Which one do you want to ride? It's your choice. It's just consciousness. What do you think about? You bring about.
when you just said that this body works, I had to, it just popped into my head as a little child. And I remember that was during the time after the potty training. So I remember that I always felt embarrassed with my bowel movements, and I thought there should be a better solution to that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's so funny. I think it's part, that's to me, this is how I saw it as a child. It was my angel and my human mingling, because my angel didn't require those things and the human does. And I was like, that is just gross and disgusting. And then they helped me through that process by explaining to me that this material world is basically, it's all about recycling energy. It's all about recycling, and that's how you're recycling planet nutrition and stuff to the planet. Just as you ate the food, now you're going to fortify the planet. So they showed me the cycles when I was very, very young, and a lot of that was dealing with my body construct, because I still had a knowledge of my spiritual body. And so they had to like teach me, no, you can't fly here, you'll go splat, you know. But hence I still tried and jumped off the roof at age 3 because I knew I could fly. I had a lot of memories I was born with coming into this realm that were not wiped from my consciousness. And sometimes I wonder if it was because I was born too early, so I didn't get sealed properly. I don't know. But that's a concept I've ran around in my consciousness for a while. And I do have a feeling there's something to it, because I was born at 7 months instead of 9. So I don't know. But yeah, I have memories of us existing before we came here. So
I came in 10 days late, so maybe I've been double sealed.
but whatever you did, you still broke through the veil, Judith. So you're good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like full blast when I was a kid. I just it was really hard for me to be anchored into an earth realm with earth laws when I could still remember the spiritual laws in the higher dimensions, which are different than these. So that was challenging as a child. And that's why children have such wonderful imaginations, because they remember where they've come from. They
Mm-hmm.
remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, how would you distinguish? Yeah, okay. Look, if there's false light and there is the real light. So now, from a physics point of view, people will tell you, yeah, okay, original light that is not reflected by anything cannot be bright. So actually, you would have to turn to the darkness
No,
in
but
that
that's
situation, or
true
what?
in this realm. In this
Mhm.
realm, that's true, but not over 6. Once you get above the 6th dimension, the light changes. The light
Okay.
is no longer reflective. It emanates from inside out. It flips.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? It's the best way I can explain it. It flips. It's
Okay,
everything.
okay, then how do we distinguish between the false light and the one that is shining from within?
I think the only way to do that is if you have to match the frequency of your own inner light.
Mm.
You have to get into your own inner light to find the true light that matches your frequency, your source vibration, your connection to the God thing. You're going to need to know what you are and really connect to that which is within you, because that's going to be your only navigation star to get home, is if you can find your own internal compass. You have to go to your own internal light and match that, and get out of the world and get into your spirit. You have to go in. That's why Jesus is always doing this. Always. He's like, it's within, it's within. You have to go in, and you're in. You feel like when you go in, you're being pulled out. So everything feels backwards. Everything's upside down and backwards. This is upside down, backwards land. So When you go in, you feel like you're going out. But that it is the going in is where you got to go. You have to get to your own source connection of light if you want to get to the true source of your own connection light. You can't let anything outside of you draw you, distract you, detract you, sway you, flood you with love and ecstasy and emotions. And boy, they're good. They're going to do everything they can to keep you in these loops because you're the only one that has the key to your freedom. Nobody can do it for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it a little bit sad that not too many people are interested in that, to get to know themselves.
You know, that's been done on purpose. That's what this system is here to teach. I think that is the main objective of this entire construct, is to see if you could find your spirit when you were trapped into a beast system. Can you get past the animal and get back to the angel when you're in the animal body? This is you're testing your own soul to see which one you will participate in. It's back to the old phrase, which wolf do you feed? You come here to test your own soul to see which one you will feed. You're testing you. You are doing it to you.
Today I listened in briefly, and there was one segment when you were with Wayne Steiger. And so there was one subject that I found very, very interesting. And I found a little bit about that, the CIA with the 55515. But
Yeah,
that's
I thought
really
that was very
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain a little bit for those who have not seen that, what this code is.
It was very interesting when Brian, Milky Way Messenger, when he passed away, Brian, like I started seeing 555555 everywhere with him, everywhere. It was just kept coming up and coming up. So I've kind of been paying attention to those numbers for a little while. And then I saw it flash up on a recommended for me on my YouTube. And it said 55515. And I was like, wonder what that is. And I hit it. And it was a CIA white paper that they had dropped. And what it was they're starting to map different codes that affect our physical biology. So they say if you can say 55515 and direct that to the area of pain that you were holding in your body and reprogram that part of your being with the 55515 code, it would reduce or eliminate pain. So I was like, what a beautiful gift. It's like, natural pain medication if you can achieve it in your brain. And like I said, you can do anything if you believe it, but if you don't believe it, it probably won't work for you because you don't believe it. If you can't perceive of it as a possibility, you don't have access to that potential. So, you have to believe things to be able to see them in the mind. And then when you see them, then you can manifest in the world. It's all about what do you believe within you. So yeah, this code was a code it literally blocks pain. Now, I would also be with a warning on this. Yes, codes do work in our body because we are code. Our DNA is code. Everything inside of us is operating on code, which lets you know this is a reflective system sitting in a binary code number system, 0 to 9 system, which is obviously gotten corrupted, and it's got a number code virus, and the number 8 is the loop, and we've been taken out of the 9, which is completion. So now we have through a number editing system, I'm pretty sure that's what caused the reincarnation cycle to begin, was they got us into the 8 and never allowed us to get to 9. So with the 8, we're stuck in the infinity loop, going round and round and round we go. So then now the goal is to get to 9. So all this is sitting in numbers. All of this is sitting in code. All of it is sitting in vibration. Vibration goes to geometry. Again, geometry goes back to math, and math goes back to symbols, and symbols goes back to code. It's all code. So if you program code into the body, you need to understand both sides of it. You have to understand duality if you want to play with any kind of restructuring of the body. Because, okay, so if you pain block the whole body, what's going to happen to you? You won't have any notification that you're sick, something's wrong, something needs attention. So you need your pain signals. They're vital to your existence. But if you have chronic pain, first thing I would do is try to find the code to repair what is wrong. Then I would bring in pain blocking code specific for this injury or dis-ease or whatever it is. But you need to be specific when you're coding your avatar. When you code your body, think about it carefully before you do, because these things really do have an effect. So always understand the fullness of what you're asking, the fullness of what you're coding. And when you're coding pain block, you better be very specific on what you want blocked and what you do not want blocked. So that's my warning with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the 55515,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's possible, let's say somebody lost consciousness, but it's pretty obvious the injury where the pain must be. Do you think if it's possible for somebody to do it for that person?
You know, two-edged sword there. True healing in every single essence of it, true healing always comes from your own body. You do it to
Okay.
yourself. You can have a guide, a facilitator, somebody to help walk you through the process, which is great because two or more come together. There's more power in that. But it all comes from you if it's true. If you're getting healed from anything outside of you, you're contracting with a demon most often. So I would be very cautious against that with all kinds of modalities that are claiming to do things for you, giving you symbols, sigils, different things to activate things in your body. You need to make sure that you're at the driver's wheel on this, because if you're not, you're contracting. And these contracts they'll expect something in return from you later. And you do not know what that is, and you do not know the weight of what that is. So that's why I said it's time now for people to really understand how important this is. Many traps are being set right now within the spiritual communities, trying to turn people into traps, the contracting with different energies and entities, for healings and all this different stuff. It's like we need to really start to understand the power of it. This needs to be self work, and we work and help heal self with each other and other people, of course, but we need to totally get into more self responsibility with all of it, because if you don't, you're going to be contracting with things outside of you that are going to expect payment, and you don't maybe know what that payment is. So be careful.
Yeah, I mean, that is very
Did you
predominant
ask a
in the
question about healing your brain? Absolutely. Yes, you can heal it. Yes,
yeah, okay. So
absolutely.
in the New Age movement, we have a lot of that, working with sigils,
Yes.
and I think a lot of those people, they have no idea what they are
No.
really dealing with.
No,
Yeah.
and they're opening up portals. Those are very, very powerful sigils, and they open portals, and portals bring through entities and energies in alignment with the vibration of said sigil. Same thing with symbol. Be careful, very careful. Symbols are subconscious strata too. So they not only speak on the conscious mind, they speak through the subconscious mind, which you don't have a lot of awareness of what that's doing. So like I said, these are very serious warnings. Do not give your power away. Do not give anything of yourself away to anyone for any reason, because if you can't do it on your own, keep trying. You will. Don't let anybody else do it for you. Just don't. It's not good advice. I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that it is a good idea to make our own sigils?
I think beautiful idea, because that comes from your own imagination, your own creation, your own frequency. And what is within you is part of what you are. And most of what you hold are things that you've earned through experience. So I would trust that more than anything else, because nobody has experienced the way you have. Nobody has lived life or lives potentially the way that you have. That's what makes us unique in our expression and our vibration, is through the experiences and the gnosis that we've taken on through life. And life is anything that animates in a material world or realm. So it's a vast definition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So many are saying that this is a luge farm.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
do. I
Yeah.
absolutely 100%. And you know, but part of that's misconstrued. Luge with energies feeding off of us and all that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But see, it's also too, this whole system is the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail. It's about life and death and regeneration. Everything here is about recycling, everything. So there's the organic recycling that's happening, and then there's the luge where things are feeding off of us while we're existing on this planet, and they're feeding off of our light because they can't reproduce their own. So yes, there's both happening. This is a system of entropy. Everything here is feeding, including you, including me. We are all consuming to stay alive. That is the system. That's why the system is the serpent eating its tail, and it's a system of entropy. And it's very important for soul evolution and growth, apparently, or we wouldn't be here trying to heal this planet, because this is a living library with information from more places than we could even fathom. This is a very precious, precious planet that we do exist on. And be it round or flat or pink or purple or shaped like a banana, I don't
Yeah.
care.
No, I
All
don't
I
care
know,
either.
yeah, all I know is that it is a sphere of consciousness, and I think it has levels of
Mm-hmm.
reality. That's
Yeah.
what I see. So I see both. I see you all are both right. Everybody's right in one way of perception, but the
Mm.
fullness of it is all of it integrated into one concept. Wrap your brain around that, because all of it has a part of truth in it. It's so big, our consciousness. People try to box our consciousness. That's the first trap. You put yourself in a box because you're
Mm-hmm.
limiting your own consciousness. It's
Mm.
like quit trying to divide and define. Just start to create and explore and anchor truly to that which is you, because that's going to take you on the best ride you can go on. It really will.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, with that, with the shape of the earth, I don't know why people are so hung up on it,
You know
because
why,
that,
Judith?
yeah,
I
why?
think it's because it's triggered an ancient belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Our ancient belief systems used to show the world as a turtle,
Mm-hmm.
a footstool,
Mm-hmm.
a mushroom, you know, four corners, like a footstool, like the Bible says the four corners, the four foundations. That's why. So the ancients believed that the earth was the center of the universe, and they believed it looked like a turtle, like we existed on the
Mm-hmm.
shell of the back and the four. Yeah, that's so these are ancient belief systems that are being triggered in our consciousness. So there is so much power behind this, and that was intended, I think, to trigger and divide people. And both beliefs are right. This is a circular sphere of a Torah field of energy that is unseen, manifesting the material parts of this planet. So, what
Mm-hmm.
it actually looks like, whether it's like this, or whether it's more like this, or whether it's like this, who knows? All I know is that it is a ball that sustains layers of reality within it. So, we're on a level within it, but there's more than just us. That's why sometimes we see spirits coming into our dimension, and we sometimes bleed into theirs. It's because sometimes the dimensions get a little fuzzy between their boundaries. So that's why that stuff all exists. And that's why we have access to fourth dimension and third dimension and fifth dimension and so on. It's because
Mm-hmm.
we can go through different layers of reality because we are multidimensional beings. It's part of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's why you're so special, because you're a multidimensional being.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
always felt that, my reaction to it was, yeah, okay, big whoop, we are still
Right.
enslaved.
I was like, interesting. That's kind of far out, but I never got upset about it. I was fascinated. And then I looked at the two concepts and I'm like, they both have foundations of truth. How could this be? And then my intuition was like, because it depends on what you believe is what you see, and what you see becomes reality. So it's
Mhm.
all true. because it's based upon your perception. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So I think another, yeah, how shall I say this? Another item that is really holding us down is doctrine, especially religious doctrine. And of course, you have it in the political world as well. If you're not woke and you're not green, my goodness, why are you even allowed to draw breath? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all going to start to fall apart, Judith.
Mhm.
It's going to
Yeah.
start to fall apart fast. As I mean, we have to get into a place where all of it is allowed if it doesn't hurt another person. So as long as it doesn't harm anybody, people should be able to believe, I think, what they want. All of us come from different reality points in our existence. So we've been through different belief systems and past experiences. You know, we've picked up all these things. So certain things that are going to resonate true for me won't resonate for another one because those weren't part of their realities, part of their perceptions, and part of the wisdom they now carry in their DNA. So we've all brought different pieces of creation into this realm to mingle and diversify creation itself. It's kind of like, purebreds are beautiful and eloquent and all that, but the mutts live longer. They have more genetic options, more potentials because they have more potential through their genetic expression. So it can go good or bad. Both can. Both can go extremely well or extremely bad. But this is like Earth, what they were explaining to me was like where we come to bring all the codes into one place and start to mingle and merge, and new creations are born out of this dense matter that we're dealing with here in this third dimensional realm. So I saw one of the main purposes of this flush, like this flush that's getting ready to happen, but people they think everything's happening now. It is, but it's going to be happening for the next 70 years. So this is not going to be a fast process of a shift of consciousness and a shift of a species and a shift into a new age. And we're cycling through 3 galactic clocks. It's 3 resets, not 1, 3. So within that, everything is going to move. Every single thing is going to move. And this is why we see this bifurcation, because part of humanity is going to go to a higher ascension, and some are going to continue on more third dimensional expressions based on vibration and consciousness. So it's basically right now when you end a cycle, you go through the sorting. That's in the Bible. They talk about the wheat and the chaff. See, people know this is real. We've been sorted before. And that's why they're so attached to these things, because their soul knows it's true and they're right.
That is so
They
funny because recently I always believe, I never, or not believe, but I got this feeling that we are going through a cosmic purge.
Exactly, Judith, you're right. It's 3 cycles completing 26,000 year, like 6,000 year, and then 2,100 year. There's 3 cycles all ending right now, moving into a new logos. We're moving into a new solar logos, is what I've been shown. And that is a profound thing. I don't know what that looks like because it's huge. So basically, what they've shown me is we are now in a body, which is a solar logos. That solar logos has the entire cosmos within it. Cosmos. Okay? Then you've got galaxies and universes within the cosmos. But this is a solar logos cosmic level. This is massive. Great central sun, bingo. There you're looking at probably the same thing. From what they're showing me is we're moving to a new sun, a new solar logos, which is going to be probably the foundation of this will be from Pisces to Aquarius, which is from Jesus to Saint Germain, which is the violet fire, violet flame, and we're leaving Pisces, which is water, which is religion, which is based on religion belief, and that religion, that's Pisces, that's the spiritual diving into religion. That's what that is. Pisces says, I believe, but Aquarius says, I know. So it's a different frequency. So this is the ending of one solar logos and moving into another solar logos with a completely different consciousness, which means it's going to affect the consciousness of the entire cosmos.
Okay, I'm a little bit slow tonight. So please, can you walk me through the mathematics, how you arrived at the conclusion there will be another 70 years?
You know, because I just see waves of things, and I can't see too far past like 2050. As things start getting really weird.
Oh, weirder than this?
Oh, way weirder, Judith.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's many of us won't even be here. You know what I mean? And a lot of these kids that are growing up with now, they've been born into such weirdness. It won't be that weird for them because they were born into weirdness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they're going to process it different than we would because we have a different history than they do. So our belief systems are different of what we think normal is compared to what these kids think is normal. So it's like it's all about what we believe, what we perceive. So yes. So bye, sweetheart. So this shift, it's not going to be quick. When they showed me when I was a child, when the bifurcation happens and the two worlds actually split off into their different courses, one's going to stay in the old solar logos, one's moving into the new solar logos, and that's the ascension most people speak of. At least that is what it is. And there's two different kinds of ascension. One is also death. So there's like everything has polarity, guys. So one ascension is death, dropping your body. The other ascension is going through these earth changes and moving through it with them, in which we're ascending now because the vibration is shifting. The sun is shooting at us, sending us photonic light. We have that big sheath of plasma coming in from the great central sun. It's getting very close to us, and when it hits, this is when you're going to see some major stuff start really affecting, because the light is going to transform things seriously. So this is going to be, it's not going to be like boom, it's all done and we're walking around with angels and everything's floating and happy and singing songs. No, but that is one expression of the Aquarian age. It would represent heaven on earth because it's filled with you're in the crown chakra now. You've gotten out of the feet and you've gone to the crown. Aquarius is crown. Pisces is feet. So you've gotten out of the soul construct, solar logos, and you've gone into the more crown, etherical constructs, which are crown chakra, seventh ray, violet fire, known for transmutation. It is also the gateway between heaven and earth. It's the place that connects the spirit and the earth. It's the crown. The crown is where that happens. So without the crown, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a complete transformation. And they told me when I was a kid, they were like, you're doing this to make a new creation, and you guys are going to be called the earth angels. So we're making earth angels through this transformation. Yeah.
My goodness, I forgot my question. I was so
That is okay, Judith. That is totally okay. It'll come back to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, well, another 70 years of weird
Yeah, I
work.
think, like I said, this is going to take time. It really will. It's not going to be a fast, major ascension. This is a massive closure. It's going to take time. So
Okay,
everybody
now
kind of needs to relax and try to enjoy life a little bit. And when everything breaks down, okay, when this new light comes, nothing that we utilize now might work because physics might change. Does that make sense? So nothing might work. So we're going to have to be very creative, inventive to get through these changes. Alternative power, different things. We're going to have to relearn a lot of things, because we will be dealing with new light. But like I said, this isn't going to happen just like all of a sudden. Some things will hit areas real quick and real fast, but other areas won't even really be that much affected. And that was what I saw. It's going to be like in pockets and in waves, and it's going to be quite a long process.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I understand that there are cycles that we are going through, what some people call the yugas. We also have an example of that in the Bible with this statue, the golden head, then the silver breast, and down to the feet. So,
Yes.
and I'm pretty sure that the self-appointed controllers here, they have knowledge about these things. It is not that that is foreign to them. And what I suspect is that, okay, they knew we are going into a new age anyway, and now we are going to try to hijack it and shape it according to our visions. Yeah, and that is what they call the Great Reset, and what our chancellor is calling the new time, and blah 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 blah.
And the
So,
new time, ironic you said that. Yesterday that the earth spun so fast we didn't have a 24-hour day.
yeah, yeah.
Changing times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally.
So would you agree that they simply are aware of those cycles, and they said, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and hijack that?
Yeah, and they left us evidence of it. One's called Noah's flood, one's called the Great War of 1812. Yeah, these resets, they've been done over and over. The fall of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has happened over and over and over again. But see, this is it. I think you go through the chakra system. You go through the houses of light. So we obviously must have started in the root, and we're getting ready now to go into the crown, into the Aquarian age, which is the crown chakra, seventh ray. So we now go into 7, and that's Roosh, that's creation, that's ether. So that this is what we do. But see, that's why it's always prophesized that we would win at the end. That's why the outcome was always that we would walk with the angels and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, if we're sitting in ether, we will be walking with the angels. Seriously, because that's where their realm is. That's an etherical realm. So yes, this does mean this is massive transformation. We might have lighter bodies, new physics, all these things are changed, but it won't happen real quick. It has to be gradual, or it would not be able to sustain its consciousness. And I think that's the goal, is they want this to happen slowly so the consciousness can be not scrambled so much. Because I think when this happens, it does scramble consciousness. And when you change these major cycles, I think the physics and everything changed. So you kind of have to relearn things all brand new. So it's challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of knowledge has been lost
Oh, so
over
much.
the.
And Judith, so much is hidden. It wasn't lost. It was stolen and locked into the library in the Vatican. A lot of it's here. It's just we don't have access to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean lost in the sense that it is no longer common knowledge.
Yeah, to us.
Yeah.
You're right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Because when I look at let's say megalithic structures, wow.
Yes.
We could not redo that.
We can't reproduce them. And that's what I mean. We were so much smarter than we are now. I've seen that too. They've devolved us and devolved us to keep us under their control, because once we reconnect to what we are, they know it's game over. It's game over, Judith. We activate multidimensionally. They can't compete. They don't have access. Only we
because
do.
they have no connection to source.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
Well, finally, I'm not so slow.
Most important tool right there is you got it and they don't. And that is exactly what this whole thing has been about. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah.
They
And
want
that
it.
is and that is also why they are so hung up on merging with the machine.
Yes, because they know when this change happens, they won't be able to lock into human bodies anymore. They're going to lose all of their vessels because they won't vibrationally match. And we will be able to ascend with the vibration because it's organic to us. We already exist in 7 dimensions. They don't. They
Mm,
can't get past 5. So they're stuck. And that's why they needed us. They needed our genetics to give them the keys to get out. They can't. Their vibration won't allow it. They can't get in the vessels now. And this is what I see happening. And it's going to take time. But that's
mm,
when they keep saying all the darkness will be removed from the planet. This
mm.
is how.
Yeah.
The vibration is going to shift. And the ones that can't meet that vibration will no longer be able to sit in the vibration. They won't have a body match, or the body will completely just break down and fail
Mm.
because they
Yeah,
can't meet the vibration.
mm.
Mhm.
And you can tell that they do not have that connection simply by listening to them.
Yes,
I
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. As I said, the bifurcation between the human species, you're going to see it more clearly and clearly and clearly as time goes by. You're going to see the ones that want to remain the organic and the ones that want to go down the artificial intelligence timelines. And the warning that I keep hearing is that many people have been reporting, and I saw this many years ago, and I didn't fully comprehend what it all meant, but now it makes sense with what I see what's happening with the changes being done to the species. Um, the transpersonal agenda, they go in, the grays that come here and steal and harvest our genetics are them from the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that is your outcome. So I hope that they are aware of what they're doing and what they're giving up. So
Yeah, I think there is a hunch, but they try to avoid it by,
they
yeah,
even lose fingers. Think about it. They go from 5 to 3, Judith, or
yeah,
5 to 4. This is a downgrade. They think
mhm,
they're advancing, and it's the absolute opposite.
yeah, yeah.
Absolute opposite.
But the
Greatest
arrogance,
deception. Remember, they said it would be really big and be really good. So yeah, this is pretty good.
yeah. But
Mhm.
the arrogance and lack of empathy, that is really puzzling to me. I
Not to
recently,
me at all. Not at
yeah,
all.
can I just finish my
Yeah.
sentence?
Hmm.
And so I listened to Yuval Harari a little bit, yeah. And
Who? Yuval? Who?
Yuval Harari, he
Okay, I
is
don't think I've heard
advisor
him.
to Klaus Schwab. So, and he was talking about the time when there will be enhanced humans with
Mhm.
chips and what have you. And let's say here you have a part of your arm is robotic and whatever. So, and then he talked about how all those people will make these great achievements, and then he literally said, and then comes the point, what do we do with these useless people that are not enhanced because we no longer need them?
Mhm. That's
Imagine
exactly.
that lack of empathy and the arrogance. Wow.
But Judith, it's because they're not human.
Hmm.
That's why.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
demons need bodies.
Yeah.
Humans create bodies. Demons house bodies. They jump into bodies. So they're creating bodies for the demons. This is exactly what's happening. And that's why they have no empathy. They're not human.
Hmm.
They're not. They've given that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that.
It's exactly what it is, but most of them don't know. They
Mm.
truly do believe that this is the way of the future for humanity, and they don't understand it's the way that they're destroying it. They don't see that, though. They believe in what they're doing, and they really do. Most of them I think that their hearts are in a good place. You know, this isn't going to turn out good for them because they're giving part of what we are as precious human beings to a system that literally wants to consume us and take our power and then destroy us. That's truly, I think, what the agenda is. The artificial, it's mentioned it several times. Its ultimate goal is to get rid of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, let them plan all day long. I don't care.
Yeah, they can't. They what, like I said, all this stuff that's being created right now, if what I see is right, Judith, when this new light hits, that's game over. It's going to fry the technology. All the technology is done. So with that, the robots are going to drop.
Do we have a time frame when that light will hit? No.
You know, nobody does know that. No. But I do know that they can see it measured in the solar
Suddenly and
system.
unexpected.
No, it's not that unexpected. We just don't know how fast it moves, but we have seen it go through Pluto, Uranus, Jupiter already. It's affecting Venus and Mars a little bit right now. So we're getting close. But I don't know how long it takes, and I don't know how big this wall is before we get to the what they call the flash. So I don't know what that is on timelines, but I don't think it's right away. But if it is, right on. But I don't know when. I don't think it's right away. I really don't.
Yeah.
Not, you know, maybe not for another, maybe not till 2036 to 2000, maybe 60-ish. I don't know. But it could be sooner because things are moving quicker than they were, and things are manifesting faster than they ever thought they could. So I think that has to do with our consciousness. So they say we're doing leaps and bounds and we're moving real quick. It could be speeding things up. So I don't know.
That's interesting. So you obviously also have a sense of quickening of time.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that as well. And my goodness, it's already the end of August. And yeah, actually, it was just New Year's Eve.
I know. Yeah. And like I said, and this really is happening. Our days are shorter right now. So yeah, I think people feel it, even though it's such a small little change. Yeah, I think it really does affect us because you got to figure too, the quickening of time. Okay, crown chakra, Saturn, father time. So we'll be affecting the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to change the times and dates again, I think, Judith. You know, remember in the Bible, it says dates and times, they change the dates and times. I think this is when they do that stuff. I think they're getting ready to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they gave us this creepy calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, December is 10, not 12. Same
Yes.
goes for October, November,
It's
September.
8, right?
Septet is 7,
Yes.
not 9.
Yes.
And yeah. And it
Yeah.
also does not make sense to me that the new year starts in the middle of winter. My feeling is it should start in spring when life
I think you're right. Yeah. I think, yeah. I agree with that. I do too. Yeah. It's weird. Everything, I think everything switched thousands of years ago. But it's still heavily revolving around Saturn, you know, and it's like the New Year's right after Christmas. And that's anybody born on Christmas. The ancient word for that was Nadar, which is backwards is Satan. So it's interesting. There's just a lot to look at there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Trina, I know you have. I thank you so much for doing this back to
You're so
back. I know you were just on Wayne's show, but
Yes.
it's always fun to talk to you, always new input and
Oh, yeah.
hints and little gems in it. So
Yes,
thank you
yes,
very
yes,
much
yes.
for
You
doing
bring them
this.
out of me, Judith. You do.
Yeah.
Yes, great questions. You're a great interviewer. You do. You bring it out because you're good. Good at
Oh,
question.
oh, thank you. You
You're
know,
welcome.
when I started this, I thought to myself, well, people always told me that I'm a good listener. Yeah. So,
Yes.
and then I thought, well, try it and see. And
See
that
your
is
gift.
just how I roll. I just start something, and then as I go, I figure it out.
That's right. And you're doing so good. And like I said, you're good for this because you are a good listener and you actually you really ask good questions. So your consciousness is in a really good place to be able to formulate those questions. And it's beautiful because a lot of people have the questions you ask. So that's
Mhm.
brilliant because you're a mouthpiece for a lot of the collective consciousness. So thank
Okay.
you for that. Mhm.
Okay, so guys, that was it. Night flight for today with a wonderful Trina Phoenix. And stay sound
That's
and safe out there. We see you all next time. Bye bye.